Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're learning how to solve systems of equations by graphing method. Are you ready? Here's our first problem. Find the solution of the system y is equal to negative 1/3 x minus 4 and y is equal to 5 over 6x plus 3. In this system, both equations are in the form y is equal to mx plus b or the slope-intercept form. So we can easily determine the slope and the b or the y-intercept. For the first equation, our slope or m is negative 1 over 3 and the y-intercept b is negative 4. So when graphing y is equal to mx plus b, we will begin first with the y-intercept negative 4. So we will begin with negative 4 on the y-axis. And from there, we need to graph the slope negative 1/3. Negative 1/3 means you go 1 down and 3 to the right. 1 down, 3 to the right, and so on. We can also graph that slope negative 1/3 as 1 over negative 3, which means we can go 1 up, 3 to the left, 1 up, 3 to the left, 1 up, 3 to the left, and so on. So this is the graph of our first equation. Y is equal to negative 1/3 x minus 4. For the second equation, we have y is equal to 5 over 6x plus 3. This means that m is 5 over 6 and the y-intercept is 3. So to graph this, we will begin also with the y-intercept 3. From the 3, we will graph the slope 5 over 6, which means we need to go 5 up and then 6 to the right. So that will be at 6/8. Or we can also do negative 5 over negative 6, because negative 5 over negative 6 is also 5 over 6. So from the y-intercept 3, we can go 3 down. From 3, we can go 5 down and 6 to the left. So they will cross at that ordered pair, negative 6, negative 2. Now let's have example number 2. Y is equal to 5 over 2x plus 6 and y is equal to negative 3x minus 5. Same as question number 1, both equations are also in the y equals mx plus b or the slope-intercept form. So we can easily determine the slope and the y-intercept. For equation 1, our slope is 5 over 2 and the y-intercept is 6. So when graphing this, we will begin with the y-intercept 6. Since there is no space going 5 up and 2 to the right, we can also do negative 5 over negative 2. Because negative 5 over negative 2 is the same thing as positive 5 over 2. So instead of going 5 up and 2 to the right, we can go 5 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 to the left. So the same thing, 5 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 to the left. So this will be the graph of that equation. Y is equal to 5 over 2x plus 6. Now let's graph the second equation. For the second equation, we have y is equal to negative 3x minus 5. And this means the slope is negative 3 or negative 3 over positive 1. You can also make it positive 3 over negative 1. Either the numerator or denominator is negative 1, but not both. And the y-intercept here is negative 5. So now we're ready to graph the equation y is equal to negative 3x minus 5. The y-intercept is negative 5. The slope is negative 3 over 1, so we can go 3 down and 1 to the right. Also, we can go 3 up and 1 left, 3 up and 1 left. So this means that the second equation will meet or intersect the first equation at this point, negative 2, positive 1. For question number 3, we have x minus y equals 9 and x plus y is equal to negative 3. So if we're going to change this into y equals mx plus b form, this becomes x minus 9 is equal to y. So I simply move 9 to the left, that's why it becomes minus 9. And I move negative y to the right, and that becomes now positive y. So in this case, our slope is 1 or 1 over 1, and the y-intercept is negative 9. So now we're ready to graph the first equation. We have y-intercept of negative 9, and the slope is positive 1 over 1. So we have 1 up, 1 to the right, 1 up, 1 to the right, and so on. So the graph will look like this. It's a increasing graph. Now let's graph the second equation. For the second equation, we have x plus y is equal to negative 3. So here, changing it to y is equal to mx plus b, we have y is equal to negative x minus 3. So in this second equation, our slope is negative 1, meaning negative 1 over positive 1, and the y-intercept is negative 3. So now we're ready to graph. The y-intercept is negative 3, and the slope is negative 1 over positive 1. So we go 1 down, 1 to the right, 1 down, 1 to the right. I'm going to zoom in to have a better view of our graph. And they will cross. They will cross at this point. And this point is positive 3, negative 6. So again, this system of equation will have a solution at 3, negative 6. For the question number 4, we have x plus 2y equals negative 4 and x plus 2y is equal to 8. So for these both equations, we need to rewrite them in the y equals mx plus b form. So I will rewrite first x plus 2y equals 8. This is the same thing as 2y is equal to negative x plus 8 when you transfer x to the right. Now we need to divide each term by 2. So we have y is equal to, this means there's an invisible negative 1. So the slope is negative 1/2 and the y-intercept is 4. Again, the slope is negative 1/2 and the y-intercept is 4. So now let's graph that. The y-intercept is positive 4 and the slope is negative 1/2, which means 1 down, 2 to the right, 1 down to the right, and so on. Just continue the process to make sure that the graph is accurate. You can also go 1 up and then 2 left, 1 up and 2 left. So that will be the graph of the first equation. Now let's look at the second equation. The second equation is x plus 2y is equal to negative 4. So also we will rewrite this in the slope-intercept form. So this is the same thing as 2y equals negative x minus 4 because I transferred x to the right, or meaning minus x to both sides. Now divide both sides by 2. So we have y is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 2. And this means the slope is negative 1/2 and the y-intercept is negative 2. If you look at these two equations, The slopes are both negative 1/2 and the y-intercepts are different. So this means we're expecting parallel graphs. Let's verify that. The y-intercept is negative 2 and the slope is negative 1/2, so we go 1 down, 2 to the right, 1 down, 2 right, and so on, 1 down, 2 right. You can also go 1 up, 2 left, 1 up, 2 left. And indeed, these two lines are parallel. So this means that this system of equation has no solution because the two graphs did not intersect. So for our question number 5, we have 2x minus 3y equals negative 15 and 2x plus 3y equals negative 9. So first we're going to change both equations in the y equals mx plus b form. So for this equation 2x plus 3y equals negative 9, I will rewrite it as 3y equals negative 2x minus 9. So I simply transfer 2x to the right. Now I need to divide both sides by 3. So I have y is equal to negative 2/3 x minus 3. So in this equation, the slope is negative 2/3 and the y-intercept is negative 3. So I will graph that. I have y-intercept of negative 3 and the slope is negative 2/3. So I need to go 2 down, 3 to the side, 2 down, 3 to the side. I will graph more points. That's also the same thing as 2 up, 3 to the left, 2 up, and then 3 to the left, and so on. So this is the graph of our equation. And I always use straight edge when graphing. Now let's go to the first equation. Our first equation is 2x minus 3y is equal to negative 15. Again, we're going to change it to y equals mx plus b form. So we have negative 3y equals negative 2x minus 15. Now we divide both sides by negative 3. So our equation is y equals 2/3, that becomes positive, and plus 5. So when we graph this, our y-intercept is 5, and the slope is 2/3. So we will begin with the y-intercept 5, and the slope is 2/3, so we go 2 up, 3 to the side, 2 up, 3 to the side. Also, this also means you can go 2 down and 3 left. So 2 down, 3 left, 2 down, 3 left, and that's the point of intersection of the system. And this means the line will cross at that point. And that is negative 6, 1, which is the solution for this system.